Okay, let's us move on to the next topic, the third line of defense. So if pathogens overcome the second line of defense, the third line of defense will be activated. The third line of defense is the immune response of the lymphocytes. Okay, so when our second line of defense fail to protect our body, for example, such as a fever, such as the phagocytosis, and also the inflammation, okay, fail to protect our body, so that means the bacteria still can infect our cell. So the third line of defense will be activated. So we will trigger the third line of defense. This is the strongest defense and the last defense in our body to protect the infection, to protect our body from infection. So the third line of defense is the immune response of the lymphocyte. Lymphocyte also another leukocyte. Specifically, this lymphocyte function will produce antibodies. Okay, so the lymphocyte formed in the lymph nodes produce antibodies. You still remember the lymph nodes in the lymphatic system along the lymphatic vessel, right? So we have the lymphatic vessel. So we have a lot of nodes here. Okay, like nodes here. So nodes, lymphatic nodes. So inside the lymphatic nodes have lymphocytes. Okay, so lymphocyte reproduce antibody. Okay, this one lah. So you can see here, this is lymphocyte. So the antibodies will be produced at the surface of this lymphocyte. Antibody is a protein, right? Okay, so the action of antibodies are specific. So that means the third line of defense action is specific compared to the first line and second line. First line and second line of defense not specific. But for the third line of defense, specific because of the actions of antibodies. The action of antibodies are specific. So each type of antibody can only combine with a certain type of antigen. For example, figure 11.5. You see here, this is the lymphocyte with the antibody. So this is antigen. So we have a lot of antigen, three different antigen, 1, 2, 3. But this antibody just can bind or combine or react with this type antigen, antigen 1 only. So specific. So each antibody has their own antigens lah. They can react to specific antigen. Okay, so means this one, number 2 and number 3 cannot be destroyed by this antibody. So this antibody just can destroy or can attack this type of antigen. So that's why these antibodies actions are specific. Okay, each type of antibody can only combine with a certain type of antigen. Specific lah. Okay, so for this antibody can attack this antigen. So maybe another type of antibody like this, for example, can attack this antigen. Okay, another one maybe like this can attack this antigen. So that's why the action of antibodies are specific. Okay, so when a person is infected with pathogens, a large number of lymphocytes will accumulate in the lymph nodes to destroy the antigens and foreign particles. So this will cause the lymph nodes to swell. So usually when a large number of lymphocyte accumulates, okay, when we infected with the pathogen, so a lot of lymphocyte will accumulates in these lymph nodes, and these lymph nodes will become swell. So this is a normal process. Okay, normal process. Whenever the lymphocyte a lot in this lymph nodes, it will become swell. And then, for example, you can see the example in the tonsil. Usually when we have the sore throat, we have fever and so on, sometimes our tonsil will swell. Okay, this is normal because lymphocyte will accumulate there. When the infection all finish, when the infection can be stopped by this lymphocyte, so the lymph node will become normal again lah. This is normal. Usually maybe in 2 weeks, in 1 week, and so on. Like that lah. That is a normal process if your lymph node swell. This show that the lymphocyte fight with the pathogens. Okay. So the lymph nodes also contains macrophage that destroy bacteria, dead tissues, and foreign particles through phagocytosis. So lymph node has two what we call cell inside. Okay. Okay, I can write here. Maybe I can write here. So lymph nodes. Where I write lymph nodes. Okay, one you have lymphocyte. Okay, so one is lymphocyte. Another one, it has also macrophage. Macrophage inside the lymph nodes. So lymphocyte will attack or will destroy the pathogens by using the antibody. Okay, but for macrophage, destroy bacteria, dead tissue, and foreign particles through phagocytosis. So the lines of defense, whenever we have the foreign particle enter, antigens or whatever pathogens enter our body, so lymphocytes in the lymph nodes. So lymph nodes have two cells, lymphocytes and also macrophage. So lymphocyte will attack the pathogens by using the antibody, but macrophage will destroy the bacteria and so on by phagocytosis. Okay, that's one you must remember lah. Okay, and then lymphocytes are divided into two types. T lymphocytes and B lymphocytes. So, we have two types of lymphocyte. Okay, I draw here. We have T lymphocyte, and then another one is the B lymphocyte. Okay, so the T lymphocyte attacks cells infected by pathogens, and T lymphocyte also stimulate B lymphocytes to produce memory cells. If the same pathogens attack, the memory cells will be stimulated to produce antibodies immediately. So lymphocyte function to attack pathogens, right? Okay, by antibody. But at the same time, it will also stimulate B cell to produce memory cell. So in these two lymphocyte, T lymphocyte and B lymphocyte, only T lymphocyte will attack the pathogens, and then stimulates the B lymphocytes to produce memory cells. That means B lymphocyte will not attack the pathogens lah, but B lymphocyte will produce memory cells. Why? If the same pathogens attacks, the memory cell will be stimulated to produce antibodies immediately. So let's say we have here bacteria S. So bacteria S is the pathogen. So when the bacteria S enter, the T lymphocyte will attack the bacteria S by using antibody. So will attack, right? Antibodies. Okay, so this is the first infection. But after that, okay, let's say maybe another 2 years or another 2 weeks, another 2 months, bacteria S attack again. Okay, now the T lymphocyte no need to attack this bacteria because inside our body have already the memory cell produced by the B lymphocyte. So the memory cells will produce antibodies, okay, to attack the bacteria S. So that means faster lah. From the first, we can recover faster for the second infection compared to the first infection. The first infection maybe taking longer time because T cell have to attack the pathogens, don't know what type of the pathogens and so on. And then, but at the same time, it will stimulate the B cell to produce the memory cell. Okay, now, okay, I know this bacteria, how this bacteria look like and so on. So later in the second infection, maybe 2 years, months, weeks later, you get another bacteria as enter this our body. So now the T lymphocyte no need to attack. Now the memory cell will take over to produce antibody to attack the bacteria S. So that's why during the second infection, usually we can recover faster compared to the first infection. Okay, so that's for the third line of defense. In third line of defense, you must remember specific. Okay, involve the lymphocyte, involve the antibody, and then where in the lymph nodes. Okay, lymph nodes have the lymphocyte and also the macrophage. Lymphocyte will attack the antibody, attack the antigens by using the antibody. So the antibody is specific to certain antigens, and then for the macrophage will attack the bacteria and so on by phagocytosis. So so lymphocytes have two cells, T lymphocytes and B lymphocytes. So T lymphocyte will attack the pathogens. At the same time, we stimulate the B lymphocyte to produce memory cells. So B lymphocyte will not attack lah. B lymphocyte will just produce the memory cells. Okay, and then if the same time same bacteria or same pathogens enter again, so the memory cell will produce antibody to attack the bacteria or the pathogens or the same pathogens. Okay, so that's all for the third line of defense.